Hello my dear children, welcome to my learning section. In today's class, we are going to discuss about a chapter, The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare. Are you ready to learn? So, let's start the class. Before moving on to the chapter, let us have a small view on the author. Did you heard about William Shakespeare? William Shakespeare was a well-known English playwright and poet, and he regarded as the greatest writer in England. He wrote many dramas which made him popular worldwide. He is well known as the national poet of England and bard of heaven. My children, did you hear about Shakespeare's works? His works consisted of 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and several poems. His plays have been translated into every major languages, and his plays have been performed more than any other playwright in the history. William Shakespeare's poems are less well known than his plays. He has been attributed with the following poems: A Lover's Complaint, The Phoenix and the Turtle, The Rape of Lucrece, Venus and Adonis, and it also includes 154 sonnets. Some of the major plays of Shakespeare's includes Hamlet, Othello, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, Julius Caesar, and The Merchant of Venice. This is a very short profile of William Shakespeare. So, let us start the class by watching some pictures. Dear children, just have a look at it. What can you see in these pictures? These pictures shows sea voyages. Here is a small video about sea voyages. In those days, that is about 500 years ago, sea voyages were dangerous, and yet some adventurous merchants travelled across the seas. Some others spent a lot of money in sending ships to faraway countries. These ships brought back spices and other treasures from India and other countries. The merchants then sold the things in their country. They made a lot of profit in this business. Today, we are going to hear a story about such a merchant. Our story begins in the beautiful city of Venice. So, the name of the story is The Merchant of Venice. Antonio is the merchant who lives in Venice city. Have you heard about the term merchant? If you don't, we can learn a new word today. There is also the phonetic transcription for knowing the pronunciation if you need it. The meaning of the word merchant is a person whose job is to buy and sell products in large amounts, especially by trading with other countries. So here, Antonio is a person whose job is to buy and sell products in large amounts, especially by trading with other countries. At the time when the story begins, Antonio was waiting for his ships to return. Antonio is a wealthy nobleman in Venice. He is very honest and kind-hearted. So, he was loved by the people of Venice. He always came to the help of the people in trouble, and he lent money to the needy people without any interest. Did you familiar with the word interest? Interest means the cost of borrowing money for a certain period of time. There lived a Jewish moneylender, Shylock. He is very cruel and ambitious. He had become very rich by lending money to merchants only for high interest. Thus, Antonio disliked Shylock for being so ambitious and treated him with great harshness in public. And Antonio used to lend money to the needy people without any interest. So, Shylock waited patiently to have a revenge on Antonio. What is the meaning of moneylender? Moneylender is a person whose business is lending money to others who pay interest. For example, Shylock is a moneylender. Antonio had a close friend, Bassanio. Bassanio was a young and handsome nobleman. He was not very rich. He loved a girl named Portia, a very wealthy lady living in Belmont. But he did not have any money to go to Belmont as a suitor of Portia. Have you heard the word suitor? Suitor is a man who pursues a relationship with a particular woman with a view to marriage. Example, she decided to marry her suitor. Portia is a very beautiful and intelligent girl. Portia too loved Bassanio. Her father died some time ago and she was the only heiress to a large estate. Her father raised a challenge before his death in order to save his daughter from fortune hunters. He had arranged 3 caskets, gold, silver and lead. The person who chose the right casket could win her. What is meant by casket? Look at the picture. Casket means a small ornamental box or chest for holding jewels, letters or other valued objects. One day, Bassanio came to Antonio and told him about his love for Portia and that he must go very soon to Belmont. When Antonio came to know this, he wanted to help. Whenever Bassanio wanted money, Antonio helped him. But at that time, Antonio did not have any money. His money is all invested in ships for trade. What they will do? Children, can you guess? Antonio told Bassanio to borrow money in his name. For that, they went to Shylock and asked him for 3,000 ducats. The word ducats means a gold coin formerly current in most European countries. At this time, Shylock decided to take advantage of this situation. He gave the money on a condition. He said that, I will give you money without any interest, but you should return the money within 3 months. It was a surprise for Antonio. What? The money without interest? I will pay money when my ship come home. At that time, Shylock said about a strange condition. If your ship do not return and you cannot pay back the money, you must allow me to cut a pound of flesh from any part of your body. It was a trap of Shylock to have a revenge on Antonio. So, Bassanio didn't agree to this bond. I didn't agree. You shall run no such risk for me. But Antonio had the faith that his ship will come back soon. He patiently said to Bassanio, my ship will come soon and we will pay the money back within the time. Don't worry. And Antonio agreed to the bond. The word bond means an agreement with legal force. Example, Antonio signed the bond. So, Shylock gave the money to Antonio. finally, Bassanio went to Belmont to marry Portia. When Bassanio arrived in Belmont, Portia was very much worried whether he might be successful in the challenge. In the test, the suitors are presented with 3 caskets, one made of gold, which in return, who chooses me shall gain what many men desire, one of silver, which says, who chooses me shall get as much as he deserves, and one of lead, which says, who chooses me must give and hazard all he has. If the suitor chooses the correct casket, he wins Portia's hand. Actually, these 3 caskets symbolizes something in the story The Merchant of Venice. Did you hear about symbolism? The golden casket is a symbol of greed and materialistic people who value surface over substance. The silver casket symbolizes a more cautious greed. These are the people who make compromises in trying to fulfill their dreams. And the final lead casket represents Portia herself, who is beautiful and valuable inside. So, these 3 caskets have a significant symbolism in Merchant of Venice. Symbolism means it is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. So, students, there are many other symbols used in this story. So, read the text and try to find out more symbols from this story. So, when Bassanio saw the casket, he said that things that glittered outside were often ugly inside. The word glitter means shine with a bright, shimmering, reflected light. For example, the grass glittered with dew. Dear children, did you familiar with the saying, all that glitters is not gold? It is an example for a proverb, which means just because something looks attractive does not mean it is genuine or valuable. So, proverb is a short saying in general use held to embody a general truth. Some more examples are given. A good book is worth its weight in gold. Looks can be deceiving. Don't judge a book by its cover. Beauty is only skin deep. Every cloud has a silver lining. The baby was as good as gold. So children, try to find the meanings of these proverbs and try to find more proverbs. It will have a fun for you. So coming back to the story, Bassanio chose the lead casket on which it was written, whoever chooses me must give and hazard all that he has. So it was the right casket. It holds the lovely picture of Portia in it. It is plain in inside, but it holds an inner treasure. That it represents Portia herself, who may one day grow old and plain, but who is beautiful and valuable inside. So Bassanio won Portia's hand by choosing the right casket. Portia too was glad to marry Bassanio. It was a moment of joy for all of them in Belmont. So this is a story. It's a story about love and mercy. We can discuss the later portion of the chapter in the next video. Hope you all are enjoyed this section. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.